You're exhausted, but not like just tired. You're bone tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. Your joints ache, you feel puffy and swollen even though you're eating well, you're drinking some water, your digestion is a mess. So you're going from constipation to diarrhea, you're gassy, you're bloated no matter what you eat, you keep getting sick, your mood is all over the place, and your brain feels like it is running through mud. And you've Googled everything. Is it my thyroid? Is it my hormones? Is it just being a mom? Everyone keeps telling you this is normal because you're a mom. You just had a baby. You're a year postpartum. It's fine. Just give it some time. But what if something else is actually going on? What if your body has been trying to tell you something this whole time and it actually has a name? Today, we are talking about postpartum inflammation, the 5 reasons your body is still inflamed, maybe months or even years after having your baby, and exactly what you can eat and start doing to turn this around. Stay with me, mamas. This one is going to connect a lot of dots. Enjoy today's episode. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, or like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos? Whether you're 4 weeks postpartum, 2 years in, or done having babies, you deserve to feel like yourself again. Hey mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong and Nourished Mama podcast, where you'll find simple, science-backed strategies to heal your core, rebuild strength, and restore your energy without the overwhelm. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Okay, I have to share this review before we get started because it genuinely made my day. Mabel wrote, insightful, great, and my go-to podcast. Every episode focuses on simple, sustainable postpartum wellness that will help moms rebuild their strength without overwhelm. Mabel, thank you. Thank you so much. Simple and sustainable without overwhelm is literally the whole mission. So the fact that you feel that coming through means everything to me. If you haven't left a review yet, please do. It takes 2 minutes. It helps other moms find the show. It helps the show grow. And I read every single review. Okay, real quick before we dive in, if you don't have my free 3-day balanced meal plan yet, go grab it now. Head to wellnessbyval.com/meal plan. Pause this episode, head to your browser, get it now because it is built on my balanced plate framework. Every meal has protein, healthy fats, fiber-rich carbs, and the micronutrients your postpartum body actually needs, whether you're 2 weeks postpartum, 6 months postpartum, or 3 years. Real recipes, a full grocery list. Yes, we need this. Zero guessing. Head to wellnessbyval.com/meal plan or DM me on Instagram meal plan, and I will send it straight to you. I want to start with a story because I think it's going to sound really familiar to you. I had this client, she came to me about a year postpartum, about a year since having her babe. And when you look at everything on paper, she was doing everything right. She was trying to eat well. She was moving her body. She was showing up, but she felt absolutely terrible. She was exhausted all the time. She was bloated. She was achy. Her mood was unpredictable. She kept getting sick. She felt like her body was just broken. Like, okay, this is my body. What's going on? Why isn't it supporting me right now? And she had been told by multiple people that this was just part of having a baby, that it would get better on its own, and that she just needed to be patient. Who wants to hear that when you're feeling all of those symptoms? No one. Here's what's actually happening. Her sleep was completely fragmented. Her stress was through the roof. There was no downtime or rest and digest activating that nervous system. Her routine was non-existent, and her body was running on empty nutritionally. She wasn't eating enough in the mornings. Actually, she was skipping breakfast most days because life was just chaos and hectic and getting the kids ready and having to take them places. She wasn't getting enough fluids, and the foods she was eating, they weren't doing much to support what her body actually needed. Now, what shifted for her wasn't like this dramatic overhaul. It was getting consistent with the basics, a routine. A routine, mama. Protein at every meal paired with real plant foods she actually enjoyed, something ready to eat in the morning so she wasn't skipping it. It was just easy to grab it, go, eat it on the way, enough water and electrolytes throughout her busy day, and her body responded. The fatigue started to lift. The bloating improved. She felt more like herself. So, what was happening in her body, and why did these changes make such a difference? They're very basic. When you think of it, you're like, okay, that's not like this big dramatic thing. So, why did these changes make such a difference? Let's get into the science, and I promise I'm going to make it make sense. Here's what I want you to understand before we dive into the 5 different reasons that we're going to talk about today. Postpartum inflammation is not a weakness. It is not you being dramatic. It is a real physiological response to one of the most physically demanding things a human body can do. The problem is not the inflammation itself. In the early postpartum period, inflammation is actually how the body heals. That's how your body heals and recovers. The problem is when it doesn't turn off, when it becomes chronic. It's not this acute inflammatory response anymore. It's chronic inflammation. And that's happening to way more moms than we actually think or that we actually talk about. And I want to say this clearly because I think it gets missed a lot. Postpartum is not just the first 6 weeks after you have your baby, after your appointment with your OBGYN, and they're like, okay, you're good to go, see ya. That doesn't mean you're not postpartum anymore. That 1 to 3 year window after having your baby, you're still postpartum. Your body is still in a recovery process. And if you've had babies back to back, let's say they're 60 months apart, 18 months apart, that compounds everything. Each pregnancy depletes your body further. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have your babies close together. No, but there's a lot that goes into this and something that we really need to talk about. Each pregnancy stresses your immune system more. We have to stop treating postpartum like it ends at the 6-week checkup because it doesn't. So let's dive into the 5 reasons. Reason 1, your body is still recovering from birth itself. Birth, whether vaginal or C-section, is a significant physical trauma, okay? It's a lot. It's a lot. Your body experienced tissue damage, blood loss, hormonal shifts, and an enormous amount of physical stress in a very, very short window of time. And don't forget, you grew a human from scratch the 9 months prior. In response to that, your immune system launched this inflammatory response. This is completely normal and it is necessary. It's how your body heals. The issue is that in the postpartum period, most moms are not given the rest, the nutrition, or the support they need to complete that healing process adequately. So the inflammatory response that was supposed to be temporary, it lingers. So think about it this way. If you broke your arm and then immediately went back to carrying heavy shit, skipping meals and not sleeping, would you be surprised if it didn't heal properly? That's essentially what we ask postpartum moms to do. And the body keeps the score, okay? Reason 2, sleep deprivation. And I know you're going to laugh at this because we're all sleep deprived moms. I totally get that. I am too. And I know you're not sleeping, but I want to explain what sleep deprivation is actually doing inside your body because it is so much more than just feeling tired. Sleep is when your body does majority of its repair work. That is the time your body needs to physically, mentally reboot, recover, take out the trash. It's when inflammatory markers are cleared, when the immune system resets, when cortisol comes back down, you can actually recover from your workouts. Without adequate sleep, not only quantity, but quality, because I'm not talking about like 8 uninterrupted hours. I know that's not the reality right now. I wake up at least once a night, whether it's my toddler or my damn dogs. Like, come on, my damn dogs. Okay, I love them. But without even broken chunks of sleep adding up to enough, your body's inflammatory markers are going to stay elevated, right? That's an inflammatory response. In fact, research shows that people who chronically get 6 hours or less of sleep a night, they're going to wake up with a higher fasting blood sugar. And that's not good. We don't want that. That's stress on the body. So this is not a mindset problem. This is actual physiology. Sleep deprivation is one of the most significant drivers of chronic inflammation that exists. And new moms are living in it, often for months or years. Like my daughter's about to be 3, and I'm still waking up every night, most nights, right? And then you get into the time where you're transitioning to not having them sleep with a diaper on, and so you're gonna have to wake up with that to help with those habits. Like there's a long time where we're not sleeping. Now, reason number 3, chronic stress and cortisol. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, it is not inherently bad in short bursts. It's actually super helpful. We need her. She's amazing. But when it's chronically elevated, which is the reality of a new mom life, or even if you're in like the toddler stages like me, it becomes pro-inflammatory. And you also want to think, okay, what is the body trying to accomplish? Because just because there's cortisol doesn't mean that your body is failing you. It's just we have to think what's going on in our environment. Think about what you're carrying: physical recovery, emotional load, identity shift, relationship changes, financial stress, the mental weight of keeping another human alive, the toddler Olympics. Like that's hard, right? That is a cortisol factory. And every time cortisol stays elevated, it's signaling your immune system to stay on high alert. And I actually talked about this in episode 100, where we dove into sleep, cortisol, and fat loss. Cortisol is elevated chronically. A lot of the times we're gonna like ride that high almost. It's not gonna feel good most of the times, but then when cortisol goes down, or when you finally take that vacation or finally get that rest that you've been waiting for, you get sick. That's typically what goes on with cortisol. This is why stress management is not a luxury for postpartum moms. It is a clinical necessity. It directly impacts your inflammatory load. Reason number 4, nutrient depletion. This is a big one, and it doesn't get talked about enough. Pregnancy and breastfeeding are extraordinarily depleting, very, very depleting for the body. Your body prioritizes your baby's needs, but that means your stores took a hit, okay? Definitely took a hit. Iron, ferritin, B12, folate, vitamin D, omega-3s. These are among the most commonly depleted nutrients postpartum. There's others that I see too. And here's the connection to inflammation. Many of these nutrients play a direct role in regulating your immune system's response. So that means the inflammatory pathways and cytokines, these chemical messengers that help with the immune system and increase inflammation. When these nutrients are depleted, your body loses some of its ability to modulate inflammation effectively. This is why I'm a big advocate for functional lab testing postpartum, no matter where you are in your journey. At minimum, a basic CBC, a complete blood count, iron, ferritin, B12, folate, vitamin D3, and a full thyroid panel. If you want to go deeper and actually measure your inflammatory load, we can look at hsCRP, high sensitivity C-reactive protein. It's a direct inflammatory marker, but we can kind of see what's going on when we look at this. My recommendation: wait until you're at least 6 weeks postpartum before running these, unless you have overt symptoms that need immediate attention. Give your body some time to move through that acute phase first, but after that, knowing your numbers is powerful. And you can even talk about that, like if you just delivered your babe, and talk about that with your OB. Hey, at our 6-week appointment, can we get some blood work done? And if that's not an option with your doctor and you want to actually run these labs and have someone interpret them through a functional medicine lens, that's exactly what I do in my functional lab review. You can find more information at wellnessbyval.com/labs, as well as schedule your visit with me. It's one of the most impactful things you can do for your postpartum health. Reason number 5, autoimmunity. Activation or reactivation. This one is really important, and I don't think it gets nearly enough attention. During pregnancy, your immune system undergoes a significant shift. It has to in order to tolerate the baby growing inside of you. After birth, the immune system is going to shift. It's going to reverse. And for some women, that reversal is going to trigger something. For moms who already had an autoimmune condition before pregnancy, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, others, postpartum can trigger this flare. The immune system shift that happens after delivery can reactivate what was previously quiet or managed during that pregnancy period. And for some women, this is when an autoimmune condition actually can develop for the first time. Postpartum thyroiditis is one of the most common examples. It's estimated to affect about 5 to 10% of women within the first year after giving birth. That's huge. That's huge. And symptoms for this, they can be subtle, but sometimes easily just mistaken for normal exhaustion, stress, and the baby blues after having your baby. And this frequently goes undiagnosed because of that, right? These symptoms overlap. If you've addressed sleep, stress, nutrition, and you still feel like, okay, something's going on, I'm still like really, really tired. What is it? What's happening? Please advocate for yourself with your provider. Ask for the labs, ask specifically about autoimmune markers. You know your body best. Now, let's talk about food, because food is one of the most powerful tools you have. And I want to give you something that's concrete and that's actionable. What can you prioritize today? Start cooking plant foods, your vegetables, your legumes, whole grains, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the amazing fiber. Your immune system needs all of these to function. Here's something a lot of moms don't know, especially in that early postpartum period after you had your baby. Aim for cooked rather than raw, okay? I'm going to explain this in a minute. Slow cooked animal foods, easier to digest, nutrient dense, supports tissue repair. Think slow cooker chicken, braised beef, soups, stews. Bone broth. So you think collagen, gelatin, these gut healing amino acids like glycine and proline. This is one of the most healing foods for a postpartum body and one of the easiest to incorporate, whether you're making it yourself and then of course purchasing from a reputable brand. Berries, they're high in antioxidants, low inflammatory load, easy to add to everything. They're high in these phytochemicals called flavonoids and anthocyanins that really support decreasing oxidative stress and inflammation. Avocado, healthy fat that supports hormone production and reduces inflammatory signaling. There's this study, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. I call it the hamburger study, where a group of people, they ate a hamburger without avocado and measured cytokines, those inflammatory markers, and then they ate a burger with avocado and measured their blood again. And when they ate the burger without avocado, inflammation increased a lot after they ate that burger. But when they had the burger with the avocado, it did not increase because of the anti-inflammatory load of the avocado. How powerful is that? So it's summer at the time of recording this episode, or wherever you are and whatever season it is, a burger is always really nice to have. Add some avocado to it. Real whole foods across the board. So if it came from the earth or an animal and it isn't heavily processed, it means it's probably going to work for you, not against you, okay? And don't forget about those backup options either. So it doesn't have to be something that you cook from scratch all of the time. Now, a note on raw foods. Let's talk about this because this may surprise you. A lot of moms, especially soon after birth, think the healthiest thing they can do is eat raw salads and raw veggies. And I understand the logic, I do. But for a postpartum body, raw foods can actually be really, really hard on digestion. Your gut has been through so much. Raw fiber is harder to break down and can worsen bloating, gas, digestive discomfort, which feeds into this inflammatory cycle. Cooking your vegetables, especially in those early months, makes the nutrients more bioavailable and is much gentler on your gut. So this is not forever, but it matters a lot early on. So why does the gut matter so much? Here is what I want you to remember. Approximately 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. Okay? That's a lot, right? That's the majority of your immune system. So if your gut is struggling, which it often is postpartum, especially after a C-section or a course of antibiotics, your immune regulation is going to struggle too. Supporting your gut with easy to digest whole foods, bone broth, fermented foods, when tolerated, and adequate fiber is directly supporting your inflammatory response. Be sure to check out episode 96, Gut Health and the Mama Microbiome, where I dive into more of this information. Now, what are some things that we can limit? Not that you can never eat these foods, but especially if we're having a high inflammatory load, we definitely want to be mindful of these foods. Processed foods, fried foods, foods high in refined sugar and refined oils. Think fast food, packaged chips, and crackers with long ingredient lists, sugary coffee drinks, heavily processed foods marketed as healthy. These foods directly increase your inflammatory load, and your body has to work harder to process them, and that work creates more inflammation. So let's also talk about food reactions real quick. Pay attention to this. If you eat something and you notice a systemic reaction, a rash, sudden bloating, like right after you eat, or as you're eating, joint pain, brain fog, fatigue that hits you within hours, your body may be mounting an inflammatory response to that specific food. Consider removing it for a period of time, seeing if your symptoms improve. It's not something that you have to remove forever, because some of the healthy foods or the plant foods may actually cause some of this, especially if digestion is weak or there's something going on. It's highly, highly individual. So I really recommend meeting with your provider. If you want to meet with me one-on-one, I highly recommend that as well. I do have some openings available, and you can head to wellnessbyval.com/nutrition. What inflames one person's body may be completely fine for another. If you're seeing a pattern, it's worth exploring, ideally with a practitioner who can help you navigate an elimination approach safely, because it's not something that you want to be on forever. Okay, let's recap. Here's what we covered. Postpartum inflammation is real, it's legit, it's physiological, and it can become chronic if the conditions driving it don't change. The 5 main drivers are recovery from birth itself, sleep deprivation, chronic stress and cortisol, nutrient depletion, and autoimmunity activation or reactivation. And food is one of the most powerful levers you have to start shifting it. Real whole foods, cooked plants, especially in that early postpartum period, quality protein, bone broth, berries, avocado, and limiting the processed and fried foods that are adding fuel to the fire. Again, it doesn't mean that you can never have these foods. So your one action item this week, let's just focus on one thing. Add one anti-inflammatory food to one meal a day. That's it. Berries it with breakfast. Bone broth instead of water as the base for your soup. Cooked vegetables at dinner. Pick one. Be consistent with it this week. Small and sustainable always beats perfect and overwhelming, okay? So try it out and let me know how it goes. Before I let you go grab my free 3-day balanced meal plan if you haven't yet. It's built on the exact same anti-inflammatory balance plate framework we talked about today. Real recipes, a full grocery list, and it takes all of the guessing out of eating this week, okay? It's the beginning of the week when this episode is being published. Head to wellnessbyval.com/meal plan or DM me meal plan on Instagram. It's completely free. You get it in your inbox. You have everything right there. Thanks so much for being here today. Share this one with a mom who needs it, because I promise you she does. Stay strong, stay nourished, and I'll see you next week. Hey mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If you got something out of it or simply enjoyed listening, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom who could use the support? And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. It truly means the world to me, and it helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right, time to go chase my toddler around. Stay strong and nourished, and I'll be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.